Hello there. This is Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another podcast. What can people say about you? You know what? Just going through the world, even though it's very important that you are focused on your own needs and the things that you have to do, think about one thing. I just want y'all to think about one thing. What can people say about you? What can they say if people think about you like hypothetically, and I'm using a strong word, hypothetically, if you were to transition today, and then if people, first of all, would people even care? Let's think about that. Let's start there first. Would people even care? Right? So that's the first thing right there. That's the first thing. Would they even care? And then if they cared, do they care enough to like have some type of service for you? And then at that service, what would they say about you? What would your obituary read? What can people remember about you? You know, we go through life. Yes, we want to be focused on the things that we want to do. We want to be focused on our mission. But then we need to ask ourselves, how has that mission impacted other people? And it's not like that you're trying to impact other people, but just the reality, if you're doing anything in life, people are going to know about you. And I don't mean in terms of being celebrities or something like that. That's a whole separate category. I'm talking about in terms of just impacting the people you come across. Well, people say that you've been a good husband, because this is primarily directed towards men, or a good man, period. Well, they say if you have children, will your children say you were a good father? Will your parents say that you were a good son? Think about that. Would your friends say you were a good friend? Do you even have friends? Or do you even have a good relationship with your parents or with your offspring? You know what? Seriously, you got to ask yourself that, because like it or not, no one is an island. I don't care how independent you say you are and what you do. Your actions impact other people. You could live in a neighborhood. You can live in an apartment. You can live in a homeless camp, and you still got to interact with other people. What they going to say? Are they going to say you just sat there? Were you mean? Seriously, I want people to think about that. And it's not in terms of just going out here and saying, yeah, I want people to like me and everything. No, it's not about that. It's having a positive impact on lives outside of your own. Positive impact. And indeed, a lot of people, especially in this sector, talking about being on your purpose. Like a lot of guys, they'll say, I'm on my purpose, on your purpose. Well, what is your purpose? Is your purpose just to make money for yourself? Okay, how you doing that? Okay, you're in business for somebody, or you in business where you're providing services or products or something like that. Well, people that you've done business with be able to say, hey, you know what? They provided a good product. And let me just be clear when I say that. What would the majority of people say? Because there's somebody always going to have some issue with you. But even with the people you have issues with, what can they really say about you? What can they really say? Because sometimes even a person that might not like you personally as a person, they might have to say, well, you know what? I ain't like that person, but you know what? They provided good service, or they did this. I want y'all to think about that. Seriously, we go, like I said, like it or not, none of us are independent. I mean, we can be independent minded at best, but our lives are touching everybody else's. I can call myself, I'm an independent minded person, but the reality is, what I'm saying on these videos is impacting people. So, and regardless of what you're doing, like you could say, well, I'm going to be a public servant. Okay, how good a public servant are you? Or you could say, you know what, I'm going to open up a restaurant, I'm going to cook some food. How was your customer service? And then in your personal lives especially, I talked about, how your mates, your family and everybody will look at you, your friends. Are you a good friend? Would they be able to say, hey, you know what, this was a great friend, or a good friend at least, or good father? Seriously, I want people to really think about that. What are you really doing now? Because I'm going to tell you something now. I've seen a lot of people, I've seen a lot of people just have some serious issues, a lot of men. And it's like you just look at them and I just say, dude, what can you say positive? Because there's a lot of people, they got issues, and I would tell them, I would say, look, what are you doing that you can stand doing? Like you get some people, they'll try to go like, oh shoot, in these internet spaces, you get some trolls who will try to go after people. But I would question every one of them. I would say, look, what do you have going on for yourself? Is this your life to annoy other people and stuff? That means you don't have anything to stand on. Because that's what it comes down to. What represents you? Every single man need to ask themselves, what represents them? What can they stand on? Not who they can tear down or complain about, because that's another issue, major issue. People complaining about other groups, other genders and everything. But I'm like, okay, yeah, they do all those stuff, but is that more important than what you do? Can you stand on your own 2 feet and say, you know what, this is what I'm about? And it takes away, this is the main thing. People talk about purpose, and I'll use the word mission. People always talk about that. So are you on your purpose? Can you say, look, this is what I'm purpose, this is what I'm doing. I ain't worried about the rest. This is what I'm standing for. I want y'all to think about that. What will they say when you pass, when you transition? I'm serious. Think about that. What will people say about you? Will people even miss you? There are people out, look, I'm going to tell you the truth. And look, this is something especially for men. Especially for men. There are many men out here. There's probably no telling how many. I'm putting in the millions. Or at least a few million out here. They could die. They could pass away and nobody would even know or care. There are people out here who could probably go, they could die wherever they living and be there a few days, maybe even a couple months before anybody even knows. Before anybody even cares. I want you to think about that. And then again, you got some other people, shoot. They'll be missed out. Shoot, somebody will know after an hour if something happens to them. I was like, I would suggest talk to any man and say, okay, which one you trying to be? I'm dead serious. And, and let me be clear about this. It's not trying to be Mr. Like or you doing stuff to be liked. You doing stuff because it's your purpose. It's what you feel like doing. You're not even looking for accolades. But the reality is, it's going to touch somebody's life. And just being who you are, not even on your mission, just living your life, it's going to touch somebody. I want y'all to think about that. What are you about? What can people say about you? All right? I want y'all to really think about that, all right? I don't care who you are out here. Every man and woman, but I'm specifically talking about to the men on this one. What can people say about you? All right? So anyway, I'll get back with y'all. Peace and blessings.